This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. Bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs and host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Today's show is my big fat good news show, so stay right there.
Bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs, and this is Vegas Rock Dog Radio. We're a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture. And today's show is extra special because it's my big fat good news show. I think with so many horrible stories out there in the world, in any kind of topic, sometimes we just need a good old dose of good news. So what do you think about that, Jim?
I think that's a great idea.
I do too. I think people are really going to need this. And before we get started, I've got Miss Thornton in studio and I've got Mr. Twix, and Jim is producing the show. Can I get a little bit more headphones, Jim? Thank you. We're back again for another live show. And like I said, it's I think it's a good time to have some really, really good news. I don't know, since when did news stations just become all doom and gloom? It used to be a balance, didn't it, Jim, of serious stuff and inspiring stories and happy stories, and now it's like
just hatred and spew and finger pointing.
Very few people now in my circle are even listening to the news anymore. They go, I can't take it. Well, I don't blame them, to be honest, but I do hope all my friends are listening in today to the big fat good news show. And before we do get started, let me tell you where you can connect with us on the internet. Of course, we have our main website, vegasrockdogradio.com, and then you'll find us on Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram. Our blog is therockandrolldog.com, and if you happen to miss the live show, then of course you can do a big fat catch up on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spoke by SiriusXM, and Spotify. But if you happen to be using a different kind of podcast app, you will be able to find us. We are on every platform, I think, available. Oh, and we're also on Google Play, so let's not forget that. So there you go. Pretty easy for you to find us, no matter what kind of app you have on your phone. So, Jim, tons of stories. I'm going to start with this one. Oh, this was super cute, super cute, and I think this might have been out of my hometown in Sheffield. And it's the best. Honestly, it made me smile. So there's a dog, and this dog's name is Bracken, and Bracken is a Springer Spaniel, and Bracken gets his own spending money. We call it spending money in England. You call it pocket money here, don't you, Jim?
Yep, pocket change.
Pocket change? No, you didn't get pocket change as kids. You got pocket money.
You got an allowance.
Oh, you got an allowance. In England, we say you got some spending money. Well, this dog has its own spending money every single week, Jim.
Where does he go buy it?
I'm going to tell you. So how this all started was Bracken grabbed a £5 note, and his dad said, listen, if you drop it, I'll give you a £5, which is what we use for £5 to say a £5. Give us a £5, yeah? I'll give you a £5. So the dog dropped the money, and he said, okay, this money's your money now. And so every Friday from that moment onwards, Bracken gets £5. He's even got his own wallet.
Huh.
So cute. So he gives it him and he takes it with his mouth and then he puts it in his wallet. Then they go shopping and they go to the pet store and he buys treats and stuff. It made me laugh because he takes the wallet. He had about £50 in there, or 50 quid.
You don't even let me have that much.
No, well, you don't let me have that much. 50 quid, that's a little slang term for pounds, yeah? So you had about 50 quid in this wallet. And what made me laugh is they went to pay for their stuff, and his dad opens up the wallet, and it goes, it's £15. He tells Bracken it's £15, and he shows him he's taking £15 out the wallet and pays for his treats and toys. I thought it was the sweetest, fun story, and again made me smile. So this is what this whole show is going to be about, are those really fun, sweet stories. Now moving on, Spring Watch. Jim and I love anything to do with nature, don't we, Jim? We love nature.
Nature, wildlife, and space.
We just love it. I particularly like on a Sunday morning, a good old nature program while we have a coffee or a tea, something like that. So Spring Watch is one of my favorite shows. I want to say it's a BBC show. It's a BBC show, but I watch it on the BritBox app. So for anyone that's not in England and you need to catch up on your television, your British television, I love BritBox app. I think it's fantastic. So this is what I found on their website this week. And oh gosh, I really wish I could have participated in this, but this is what they posted on their website. As our towns and cities sprawl out into the countryside, our gardens are becoming more and more vital as wildlife reserves as wildlife reserves of the future. We want to map the resources available for wildlife in gardens up and down the country and find out which wild visitors they attract. We also want to find out what our gardens are lacking and how we can improve them for nature. And this is where you at home play the most important role. So if you're in the United Kingdom, this one is for you. So this year, they're teaming up with the British Trust of Ornithology and the Open University for their biggest citizen science project ever, and it's called Garden Watch. I would be the first to sign up for this, wouldn't I, Jim?
You'd be there every day.
I would. I bet, can I help you as well? Anyway, so there are 4 projects on this Garden Watch mission that you can get involved in if you're living in the UK. And here are the 4 projects now. The first one is called Beyond the Back Door. What are your garden's defining features? And so what you do is you go to their website. Of course, we're linking everything in the show notes. You go to the website, you choose the project you want to get involved in, or all of them if you want to. And you're going to start, basically it's an online, I don't want to say quiz, what do you call it? Survey kind of thing, yeah? And what they're wanting with this particular one, Beyond the Back Door, we need your help to map the resources available to wildlife in gardens and in other outdoor spaces up and down the country. So you take part to help them discover the collective importance of garden habitats for the animals that live alongside us. So basically they're going to ask you, have you got foxes? Have you got badgers? Have you got hedgehogs? That kind of thing. I mean, we already know that hedgehogs are in a massive decline. I think there's only 1 million of them left now in Britain. So the next one is the worm detective, what's living below ground. And they said earthworms and other ground-dwelling invertebrates are an essential part of the diet of many birds and mammals, and they need your help to count soil invertebrates so we can work out how abundant this vital food source is in different garden habitats. The next one is bird detective, which I would think a lot of people will be quite interested in. And what are the garden birds getting up to? So gardens are vital for birds in spring because they provide the resources they need to breed, including food, shelter, water, and nesting sites. We need your help to record what birds are doing so we can find out how they benefit from garden habitats at a critical time of the year. And then the last one is the mammal detective. Who are our furry neighbours? Mammals are often elusive nighttime visitors to the garden. We need your help to find out how much of these often under-recorded animals use gardens and to understand which resources are most important for their survival. Now, I'm on a group, and it's a group from my hometown of Sheffield, and it's an incredible group. I mean, first of all, they post pictures of past, present, and past and present, and then lots and lots of pictures of nature and their gardens especially. But they also post up a lot of footage from their security cameras from the nighttime. That sounds so funny. From the nighttime. So I would think they'll be able to gather more information because more and more people are using security cameras to be able to record what's going on. And lots of these people love foxes. Despite what you hear sometimes in the news, people really love foxes. And they love badgers and they love hedgehogs. So there you go. So that's I thought this was such a good news thing for our wildlife in the United Kingdom, how you can get involved. And I know tons of people will, because we seem to have such a love of nature back home. I mean, it's all about going for a walk and getting in the fields. And there's one guy, and I want to say he's on the Sheffield page. And I want to say it's called Sheffield Pictures Past and Present or something. He's got a little mouse that comes to his house, his back garden, but he's gone and built a little mini village for the mouse. It's absolutely fantastic.
You might have lots of mouses later.
It might do, and they'll all love that. They'll live in the village, and absolutely, honestly, it's adorable, absolutely adorable. And this mouse is becoming famous, but it's very, very sweet. Another person who's worth following is Jim. He's the photographer at Chatsworth, and he's the nature photography, has full access, and he's got some incredible photos of wildlife. And again, he names all of the animals that he sees, because he sees them every single day, and they're absolutely wonderful. I will link his stuff up as well. So I do think it's a great project. Oh, who's stamping on my toes? Is that Mr. Twix? He's just come under my feet. Cute little thing. So there you go. I think that's good news for nature, good news for the wildlife, and I really wish I could participate in that, because that's something I would really enjoy. Well, let's move on. This is a great title. Guy dressed as Batman has rescued dozens of shelter pets from euthanization. Now, he's honestly head to toe, the whole gear, the whole thing. And this is the article. It says, not all heroes wear capes, but this guy has already saved dozens of dogs and cats from euthanization. And he has done it all the time dressed as Batman. So he goes into the shelter as Batman.
That's pretty cool.
He comes home with the animals as Batman. He's 27-year-old. His name is Chris Van Dorn, and he's been a huge fan of what they call the Cape Crusader. That's Batman. So when he began volunteering for various animal rescues around Orlando, Florida, because this is where he's located, he decided to combine two passions, and that was his Batman suit and his love of animals and the importance of adoption, and how he could use that to bring attention to these animals in these shelters. This is the kind of stuff I love. I just, you don't want to be in a sea of sameness, because you need to stand out, particularly when you're involved in causes. You've got to be doing things that are different. You don't want to be going, oh, this is how everybody does it. No, you need to stick out like a sore thumb, and this is exactly what he's doing, and it's working. So he said it kind of just came as a way to embody all the good I wanted to do in the world, and make it easy for people to talk to me right off the bat. Which you would. I mean, you would hardly walk past him and pretend it was just normal. You'd say, hey, Batman. I think it's a brilliant icebreaker to be able to talk to people. Now, not only has he used the suit as a conversation starter for why people should adopt shelter pets, but he has also donned the suit to transport dozens of animals from the shelter to their loving forever homes. Can you imagine? He shows up at your house with your newly adopted pet, and it's Batman. So initially, he used the costume as a means of keeping all of his rescue missions anonymous, but his good deeds finally brought his real identity into the light after he was featured as an honorary GoFundMe hero back in May. So obviously someone was paying attention. And since this time, and that was May time, since then he's actually launched a non-profit, and it's Batman for Paws. Actually, no, he launched it in 2018. Batman for Paws, that's a number 4. And he's embarked on dozens of hours-long cross-country road trips to rescue dogs from basically death row and bring them to loving families that are willing to adopt them. And they said, thankfully, this GoFundMe article helped him finance his rescue missions, and collectively he's raised $32,000 over the last 10 months, which is so helpful when you're starting this kind of venture, and how generous of people to do that. And he said, when I first started out, I was keeping everything really anonymous. I would sign everything Bruce Wayne and not put my real name out there. And my catchphrase is, it's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. And he says it still holds true to today. He hopes that he'll be able to find a compassionate citizen to donate a bigger van so he can replace his current Batmobile, which is actually a humble Honda Accord, and transport more animals in his rescue missions. He also aims, he said, and I love this too, because we've got a couple of organizations that already do this. He wants to get his pilot's license as a means of air travel, and it being, of course, far more efficient and quicker, and especially when you've got animals in distress, you can get him moved straight away. And additionally, he says he recently got his trusty sidekick, Mr. Boots, licensed as a therapy dog, and the two have been making plenty of guest appearances as Batman and Robin at various hospitals around Florida. Oh, it's so great. So, of course, they are a dynamic duo. They don their costumes for adoption events and these animal shelter fundraisers. And he says the costume helps draw in more visitors, and he takes every opportunity to hand out brochures and stickers, all to get this message out about adoption and why it's important. He does have a website, as I say, it's Batman for Paws, number 4, Batman for Paws, and I think that is a great story, and certainly not in a sea of sameness, that's for sure. Don't you love that, Jim? If you had to choose a superhero to do your rescue stuff, what would you wear? Who would you be?
Very difficult to choose. I like Hong Kong Phooey.
And he was a dog.
I think it would be Hong Kong Phooey or Muttley.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. I'll be Penelope Pitstop.
Yeah.
Penelope Pitstop.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. What did she used to say? Stop. Help. Oh, what did she used to say? Help. Oh, stop the wolf.
Help me.
Who used to say stop the wolf?
I can't
Stop
remember
the
that.
wolf. It was her, wasn't it?
I don't think so, because the wolf never chased her.
I don't know. But they had those gangsters, didn't they? Had the what they call it, 5 o'clock shadow. Mm-hmm. Who else were the characters on Penelope Pitstop?
Dick Dastardly and Muttley.
That's right.
And and what was the guy's name?
It was a long time.
Rock. I can't remember the guy that drove the. Who's up there?
Someone's jumping up. I'm actually enjoying standing up doing the show, to be honest. So someone's taking advantage of my empty seat. Just make sure he doesn't knock anything off, because he doesn't care.
He doesn't care about anything.
He wants to be up on the chair and jumping on the table, which he's kind of looking like he wants to do, which let's see what happens. Who even knows? He's so crazy. First time I think I've done a show scratching his bum. And we must. This would put a smile on your face. Oh, he's so funny. Oh, he's hilarious. So he had his toy, and he splooted on the floor. And I scratched his little bottom, and I said, pump it up. And he stuck his bum up in the air. So he was doing like a mega downward facing dog, yeah? Or a play bow, as we like to say. But now I only have to touch his bum, and he sticks it up in the air. It's hilarious. This is why he wants to be up. He wants to stick his head out the studio window and bark at something that's not there. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, this would make you smile. He's such a sweet boy. But don't you love that story, Jim?
That's excellent story.
It's really great. Isn't it great how you would never think in a million years that Batman and Animal Rescue would work hand in hand? But it does. It really does. Now, here's a good one. Actually, do we need to take a quick break before we do anything?
Yeah, we could take a break now.
Yeah, let's do that, because I've got tons more good news to tell you and good stories that'll make you smile. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite.
Dinovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, Get one free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, and today is the big, fat, good news show so that we can put a smile on your face, maybe inspire you a little bit, and just know that there are some really great things happening in the world when it comes to animals. This is a fun one, Jim, and this is about a dog that shoplifted a book. And the name of the book, well, the topic of the book was about abandonment. So this is a stray dog.
How's the dog know?
I don't know. And it was certainly given the love it was asking for. So instead of being disciplined for his misdeed, which, seriously, that's as adorable as you could get, this unlikely shoplifter is being given more love and attention than ever before. So last year, this stray dog caught on camera, so this is why we know it happened, because I've seen the video, caught on camera sneaking into the Fevale University bookshop in Novo Hamburgo, Brazil. And after managing to get past the front desk, the pup can be seen grabbing a book in its mouth and trotting out of the store. But it wasn't just any old book. It was entitled The Days of Abandonment. And they said a pretty, relatable topic for a stray animal to be picking up. So before the dog had a chance to read the pages, pawing the pages over and over, one of the campus students retrieved the book and gave it to the stunned cashier. And that person was working that front desk. Not very good at their job if they can get books stolen right from under their noses. But the book staff, they said, was so tickled by the sneaky dog. And I'm going to say someone British wrote this article because of the words they're using, and I love that. Tickled. They posted a video of what they called the heist, and they posted it on Facebook, and of course it went viral. And as fate would have it, a group of local animal rescuers saw the video, stopped by the bookshop, and checked the dog into their care. And the dog was given a bath, its vaccinations, and a foster home following its rescue. I love this story. Maybe this dog said, listen, I need to get myself on a viral video. What can I do? You know what? I'm going to go and steal a book. And it worked out great. Isn't that a cute story?
It's excellent.
I love that.
That sounds, well, you'd have to take Mr. Twix into a shoe store and he would steal.
Oh, yes. And he would see if he could get, well, I've seen him run with 2 shoes in his mouth. How he's done that, I don't even know. But he loves a shoe. He just loves a shoe. You come home and the first thing he does, he picks up a shoe and then he runs to greet you, yeah? And then if he goes outside for a wee, he takes a shoe, or he takes one of his toys for a week, because I think he reckons that they need a wee as well. He's gathering some friends, though, isn't he, Jim? He's got Panda, the kitty cat,
the
baby, which is a dog, and we've got a squirrel, which is a rubber squirrel. We have a monkey.
Yep.
But I would say he loves shoes more than anything.
Shoes and socks.
Shoes and socks, yeah. Absolutely loves them. And Jim goes out every couple of days and just gathers up the shoes and brings them all back in. And if I'm missing a shoe, I know it's outside. And you know what? It was only in the very beginning that he damaged some shoes. You know, those Carlos Santana ones? They were nice shoes. But, you know.
He bit the nubs off a few flip-flops.
He does. You know what? He's so smart. He knows that one little nub is the only thing that makes it flip-flop. And if it's not there, it's no longer a flip-flop. It's just a flop. So he loves that bit. He's a pretty smart boy. I tell you what I just came across the other day was this video. We were sat watching TV, and I'm watching him, and he goes up to a cupboard that I rarely open, and he opened it himself, and he climbed inside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, oh no, there's a whole other level of security we have to go through to make sure he doesn't get into anything, but he's a smart boy. All right, let's move on. So this is a great news story. Man is responsible for restoring mobility to over 20,000 animals, and he wants others to help do the same thing. Now, despite previously making a career out of helping humans, this guy is now responsible for helping over 20,000 animals have truly a lifeline and a new lease on life. Now, Derek Campagna is an orthotist who specializes in making prosthetic limbs and customized braces for disabled animals. And he'd made something of a name of himself as a trailblazer in animal orthotics. And in addition to being the first person to build an orthotic brace for an elephant, wow, that's a big undertaking. He also is one of only a few people who specialize in making braces and prosthetics for animals like kangaroos, goats, camels, sheep, llamas, and deer as well. So he's beyond, cats and dogs. He's taking care of as many as he possibly can. Now, he has an office, and it's in Sterling, Virginia. Have you ever been there, Jim?
I think I know where that is.
Yeah.
I think I've been in that area.
And he's crafted thousands and thousands of these prosthetics and braces for animals, and it's for animals all throughout the world. So it's not just locally. And he's got 2 companies, and I kind of love the name of this one, Bionic Pets. Since we're talking about Batman, Bionic Man, Bionic Pets and Animal Ortho Care. So he's got 2 companies. Now, what he's trying to do is share his expertise with other animal care specialists so that more and more of these animals can be given what they call this gift of renewed mobility. And if you see some of these videos on Facebook, for example, when a dog first gets its wheels, or to be able to move is fantastic. So you can imagine he's changing lives beyond, but he's hoping that he can expand the interest in his field, and they'll be able to help more and more animals. And, the more people can get to produce these things, it can bring the cost down, because it can be costly to do that kind of thing, because they have to be custom, otherwise they don't work properly. And he said, I just want to share the story of what I do and all these animals that have overcome adversity. It's all about awareness, and people just aren't aware that these type of therapies exist. And if they did, and they knew they were cost effective and could really extend the life of the pet, then he said, that's my goal. It's to help all of these animals. So if there's something that you're interested in, the field of animals, there's so many jobs. There's so many different ways that you can get involved. And this one is, I bet it's so rewarding. I can't even imagine when you give an elephant a prosthetic, and there you go. It can walk now, and that's quality of life. That's improved animal welfare. But yeah, those 2 companies, Bionic Pets and Animal Ortho Care. Now, this story came in this week when I was asking people. I said, hey, I'm doing the Big Fat Good News Show. Is there any animal-related news that you know of that I need to know of? Well, someone I actually know got involved in this particular story. And it's the, let me get here. It's the Humane Society of Clark County in Arkadelphia, which is in Arkansas. And they were hit by a massive flood in the middle of the night, which is... Sometimes you're just in bed, you're like, oh, it's a bad storm, but it was a massive flood, and that was mid-June. So it's that tropical storm, Barry, they call it. It brought in 6 inches of rain,
storm, yeah.
And it just devastated this town. Anyway, staff and the volunteers arrived early in the morning to find that one little puppy had drowned. And as a result of this, horrible torrential downpour, of course, you can imagine the other animals, 150 plus, there were cats and dogs on the property. They were just wandering around cold and wet and confused. And this tiny community, they just pulled together, and basically, you've got your own situation, but they realized at shelter, oh my gosh, we've got to get these animals out. So they did an emergency foster situation and fostered, all the community pulled out 72 of the displaced dogs. That's a lot of dogs to pull when you've got your own issue as well going on, and probably your own pets. So staff and volunteers, they rushed to clean up an area for cats and kittens so that they could remain on the property. But the community just pulled together. We've got to get these animals out of the shelter. And you never think about that, do you? With natural disasters. Yeah, it's like I was asking, remember last week I was all fired up about us not having an emergency plan for people and pets where we are. And I'd called animal control in the shelter because they were saying they were part of the plan. And they said, well, yeah, you can bring your pets here. You can't stay. but they don't have much more than 20 kennels, which I would think would have animals in them that are already, getting ready to be adopted out, and they need space for animals coming in. But what if they were in a situation where their building was crumbling? What's their plan to get those animals out? And it would be down to the community, just like they did. They would say, let's step in. We've got to help these animals. And this is what they did. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. But, of course, because of this disaster, all their donated food and supplies were just completely destroyed. And it's funny because I think, not funny, but when you go through a disaster you've not been through in a shelter, that'll be one of those things where they say, okay, so how do we protect our food and supplies should it happen again? You don't think about that, do you? Anyway, so this small community and this tiny, tiny shelter, they're now gathering resources to rebuild and restock whatever they lost. And they said no amount is too small to go towards the funds needed to clean, restock, and their medical supplies, food, litter, bedding, and more. And they have a wish list, an Amazon wish list. So I'm going to put that up there. But the person that posted this, her and her sister volunteered.
Okay.
So she was like, yeah, we went down and we volunteered and we helped. So that is, to me, just great community coming together for animals in need. Just a great story. Very sad that they lost a little puppy, though. Very sad. Let's go on to this one. Oh, gosh, I've got all kind of like movie references and character references as far as like animals go today, because a woman shares her home with 90 rescue animals that she named after the Lord of the Rings characters.
90. 90.
I don't know what it is. Whenever
I
I say 30 or 90, people think I'm saying 13 and 19.
I just know that's a lot. 90. 90.
So, this lady, of course, is an avid animal lover, which you would have to be, but she shares her home with 90 different rescue pets, and all of them are named after Lord of the Rings characters. Are there that many? There must be, obviously. Anyway, her name is Adri Rochelle. And she's got a menagerie of animals. She's even got, this is funny, Bilbo Baggins the mule. She's got Gandalf the goat. Frodo, I was waiting for Frodo.
You love Frodo.
Because we use Frodo a lot in reference to Jim's feet, by the way. Frodo the spaniel, and 2 cats named Boromir and Faramir. But she's 31 years old, and she's actually a dog sitter. She's in Georgia. And she says she's rapidly running out of Middle-earth names.
She can't have a job in 90 animals.
That's her job. She's a dog. She probably pets
she has
too.
90 of her own, and then more.
Yeah, she says she's always loved animals. I don't think anyone is surprised that I'm living like this, she said. When I was a kid, my room was full of stuffed animals because she couldn't get the real ones, so she substituted. They do all have names, and 80% of them are named after Lord of the Rings. And she says she's a fan, of course. She's a big fan of Tolkien, and she's a little obsessed with the books and the films. Technically, we haven't run out of Lord of the Rings names, but I really have to search for them now. So she's got into probably people who had walk-on parts. Yeah. So this is what she's got. She's got 22 rescue pigs, 12 dogs, 8 chickens, 6 cats, 4 parrots, 4 horses, 4 peacocks, 4 rats, 3 hairless guinea pigs, 2 goats, 2 ducks, 2 cockatoos, 2 cows, 2 mini cows. What's a mini cow? 2 alpacas, 2 ferrets, 2 geckos, 1 tegu lizard, 1 bearded dragon lizard, a mule, a hamster, a rabbit, a tortoise, and a python. She's got it all going on. I bet it is quite fun, though, to name them, because she's got a lot of variety in animals. I bet she matches their characters up with their name. I love that. But I love that she made Gandalf the goat. Because he's got that
beard.
Yeah. Anyway, what she's done is, this is hilarious. She has constructed a special 10-foot wide bed so that at least 4 of her animals can pile in with her at night. And she says, without fail, the pigs will join me in bed, and usually dogs and cats will come in too. And she's set up tree branches in the headboard. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the picture. It's amazing. She's set up tree branches in the headboard so the birds can sleep near her too. She says, I've taken naps with my rats before as well. I think it's... She's dedicated, this girl, I'm telling you. She says, even though I built a bigger bed, they all sleep on top of me. Well, of course they do. And she moved into a farmhouse. That's what she did. So she's got property, and that was back in 2015. And of course, she needed the extra space. And she said her critter companions cost her a whopping $10,000 a year in veterinary bills and food. I don't think that's that bad for 90 animals, do you?
I just can't imagine live with 90 animals.
She's got the space, though.
I still don't have my head around that.
You got the space. I mean, it's basically a sanctuary.
It's like Animal Farm.
She's on a farm.
Animal Farm.
Anyway, her critter companions, they cost her $10,000, which we just spent $700 the other day. We've got 2 dogs. That was for 1 dog. So she must have a great vet. That's all I'm saying. I want to know who her vet is. But she, of course, she's got to feed them. So it's frozen mice for a snake and roaches, and crickets and superworms for the reptiles. And she says she's got a feeding routine down to 40 minutes a day. And cleaning cages and enclosures takes another half an hour. She's efficient. She's efficient. She says, I like to make sure everyone is settled in, and then I'll feed the dogs their breakfast, and I'll feed myself, she says, if I'm lucky. And I give the rest of the animals breakfast around 10. They get fresh fruits and vegetables, hay and pellets for the horses, and all the pigs get bananas. And she says, I can go through and spot clean all the cages and enclosures in half an hour. She said, I just put on a podcast and I do it. And she said she's also spent a good $10,000 on animal proofing a 11,000 square foot guest house.
11,000 square foot guest house?
Excuse me.
Hold on a second now.
Excuse me.
The guest house is 11,000
That's what I'm reading, yes. So that her pigs, dogs, and guinea pigs could live inside. Do you know, I want to be her friend.
That's a farm. That is a barn there.
It's a proper, yeah. It says the birds like to chew everything, so we took out all of the molding and the baseboards and the carpets and childproof all the cabinets. And yeah, we know about the cabinets, and now they can fly free and not be locked in cages. Oh, you know what? I hope she has a website. So I need to find out where she is. But she even rigged the home with cameras so she can always keep an eye on them if she's not at home. And she said she has to credit her parents, Larry Jacobs, who's a retired natural resources specialist, and her mum, Cynthia, who's a retired nurse, who showed her how to be this animal-loving person, this great nature that she's got. She says, my dad would go out every year to count endangered species like bald eagles, frogs, and snakes, and my mum would constantly taking in stray animals like baby birds, kittens, and dogs. She said we raised chickens, rabbits, and ducks growing up. She's probably about 20 animals. So, I mean, this is not a, hey, I'm going to jump in 2 feet with 90 animals. I mean,
She's an animal husbandry expert.
She's been around them her whole life, starting with the cuddly toys. But she said 10 years ago, she started taking in rescue pigs, and that's where it started to grow. And her family sometimes wishes she would focus on herself instead of her many pets. But she said she just doesn't want to be doing anything else with her time or her money other than looking after these animals. And she says, I ended up with lots of these animals because other people had taken them in and just didn't want them. And she said a lot of them arrived in just really poor condition. And people say she's an animal hoarder, but there are people who have failed at having just one animal. Here I am with other people's animals all around me, and I'm doing a great job. People are rude. Don't be rude. This is a good story. And she's got the space and the experience.
Wow.
And the money.
That's amazing.
So,
an 11,000 square foot guest house.
Yeah. Hoarding is a very strong word to use with someone who's actually taking care of animals.
Who has that much space.
And hoarding is it's a very defined, what's going on. There's no space. They're not taken care of. They just keep taking more in when they can't take care of them. They don't have the finances. They don't have the food. They can't keep them clean. Yeah, a bit of an insult. I would have been quite upset about that.
Yeah,
anyway,
hoarding implies lack of care.
It does. It absolutely does. So we're going to push that to one side because I think she's doing a great job. And she says she absolutely does adore a zoological lifestyle. She admitted it's not for everyone, and it's not. I mean, that's a life commitment, isn't it? And she said, I think for a normal person, it would be a lot of work, but a lot of noise and cleaning. For me, it's almost therapeutic. She gets so much satisfaction from caring for her animals. And she says, out of 90, only 5 of them weren't adopted. I'm able to provide unwanted animals with a home, and this is a little piece of paradise. So she has a YouTube channel, yay! Audrey Rochelle, Adri, Audrey Rochelle.
Adri.
And I've never heard of that name. Is it Greek?
No, I think I don't know. It sounds made up.
She's applying for a
It
non-profit
does.
with the hopes of turning her home into a true sanctuary. And that always helps when you become a non-profit, because before Rocking for Rescue was a non-profit, we were raising money all the time. But when you're reaching out for donations, often they don't want to work with you if you're not a non-profit. And that's fair enough, you know.
Maybe it's short for Adrian.
Maybe, yeah. And then it's, you know, it does limit you. Although I don't think we were really that limited, because we just got so many people on board, and then we became a 501c3. And, you know, so I think that's great that she's doing that, because then she can take donations and she'll be able to help more animals. I love it. That's another good news story. Now, how many more? There were so many. I mean, honestly, I could have put 1,000 stories into this show today. But, here we go. This is probably my last one, I think, Jim.
Well, you got plenty of time.
I think it's my last one.
Okay.
Because how many have I done? Like 6 stories up to
I
now?
think so.
Well, how much time do I have?
You got about 20 minutes.
Oh, maybe you can find me some more stories while you're at it. Yeah?
Yeah, I don't have my device. I have to go get it.
It's here. I took it away from you because I did.
Okay.
Here we go. Dozens of creatures thought to be extinct are found alive in a lost city in the jungle. I can't imagine.
Oh, I do have one good story.
Would you want to do yours before mine?
Sure.
Go on.
The recent earthquake in Ridgecrest, California, that affected all of the Southwest
Yeah.
had a very tremendous effect in Death Valley at a very, very important ecological place, a cavern where the pupfish, the very rare desert pupfish, live.
Yeah.
And there's camera footage, because they have a camera in this area where these pupfish are located.
Yeah.
The water sloshed up and down the walls during the earthquake shaking, and they were worried. There was about 100 pupfish, which are very rare and very fragile environmental fish here in the Southwest, and they were concerned that there was going to be a problem and loss of almost all of them, and they're virtually on the edge of extinction. And they had cameras, and they checked that area after the earthquakes, and it turns out all of the pupfish survived.
That is good news.
So, yeah, I did have a good
Because
news
when they're
story.
endangered, I mean, they do have to
and
be
you
protected.
see this water.
Is it crazy, this video?
It's in a crevice in the desert out of Death Valley.
No
And
way.
the water just went berserk from the earthquake. Yeah.
Well, I did. I can imagine. You know, you're in water, you live in water, and that whole thing starts sloshing around. Oh, well, that's really good news, because, you
They
know.
live in that like geothermal water, that comes up out of the Southwest here.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they live in the pupfish. We have pupfish out here somewhere too.
We
I
do?
think, out in the Virgin River, I think they're existing.
Huh. Virgin River down in Laughlin?
No, no, that's not the Virgin River. That's the Colorado River.
Oh, okay.
Virgin River's up in Mesquite.
Oh, Mesquite area.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'll have to look at that video.
Yeah, the pupfish in the earthquake.
Are they big fish?
No, they're little.
Oh. Here we go. Let's move on to this one then, because it goes right into, goes hand in hand with this one, because it's about finding animals that are they thought were extinct. A SWAT team of scientists traveled to a lost city buried deep within the jungles of Honduras, and they were stunned by the sheer amount of biodiversity that they found. So this started in 2017, and these researchers were from the Conservation International, and they conducted this 3-week research expedition following the discovery of ancient ruins at a site deep within the Mosquitia rainforest. Pick your pronunciation on that one. But it's known as the lost city of the monkey god, or the White City. So this is in Honduras. Now, since the rainforest remains one of the most unexplored areas of Central America, they just hoped they were going to shine a light on the ecological state of the region. This is what they were going out for. Now, the organization did finally publish a report of their findings, and it detailed how this ancient settlement is encompassed by a pristine, thriving ecosystem. They said it was teeming with rare and unique species, including new ones and ones that they thought were extinct. Can you imagine being that person this whole team goes out there going for one job, and then all of a sudden you go, whoa, what the heck? And I've never seen that before, and I thought that was gone. That's amazing. So in total, this team, they documented 198 species of birds, 94 butterflies, 40 small mammals, 56 amphibians and reptiles, 30 large mammals. These were, oh my gosh, pumas, ocelots and jaguars, and a variety of plants, fish, rodents, and insects. Whoa, it's more than dozens. It's a couple of hundred. Well, it's more than that, isn't it? Let's have a look. Something like 300. I cannot imagine coming across that. I bet they were losing their tiny little minds and jumping up and just, so excited. But here we go. Some of these more notable finds included a tiger beetle, which had only ever been recorded in Nicaragua and was believed to be extinct, and the false tree coral snake, which had not been reported in Honduras since 1965.
They're poisonous, coral snakes.
Are they? 1965. 54 years ago.
They're related to the cobra.
I didn't know that.
Coral snakes, yes.
So they said that team of scientists were just shocked at this discovery because it was just so rich in biodiversity and all these rare and, they said threatened species. Now, the director is Trond Larsen. He's the director of Conservation International's Rapid Assessment Program. I hope we've got an acronym for that. And the White City is one of the few areas remaining in Central America where ecological and evolutionary processes remain intact. Said overall, our findings demonstrate that the area is of global environmental as well as archaeological significance. Armed with this knowledge, stakeholders can now begin to design and implement conservation strategies to protect this critical ecosystem. So they've obviously got a lot more research to do and find out why it is, that they're all thriving in that area. They hope that their findings will help to implement additional conservation measures that will help to protect the region from deforestation, which we know is not a good thing. So isn't that amazing? I'd love to do something like that. Go on an expedition, Jim.
Where to?
I don't know. I'll go there. Go meet all these new species.
I was just like Dougal just then. Where to, Ted?
He's referring to Father Ted, the show Father Ted.
Why'd you want to do that, Ted?
It's such a good show. We watched it today. It was really fun. Yeah, wow. Such great news. Such great news. So as I say, you know what? We turn on the news generally and we go, and we zone out because it's just too much. But there is a lot of good news around the world, particularly when it comes to animals. Jim, you got any more stories? Were you searching for them or going down a rabbit hole?
No, I was. Hang on. Let's see.
But I'm around good stories often because I work with so many rescues. The stories don't always start off happy, but I do know that once animals end up in rescue, that their lives do change. And I tell you something, I do have a little catch up. You remember I told you about the little Galgos dog in Spain at the Galgos del Sol rescue? A little crumpet was found, 2 broken legs, front legs, and this week she went to a new home in the States. I think she moved to New York. So, again, I see these stories come in, and, they're not the happiest when they come in, but I do know, oh my gosh, they're in the right place. That's the minute their lives start to improve. And is it any better than moving to New York City?
I got another. Here's a good story.
You can't go wrong, can you?
This is one of the top stories that came up. It's about a morning drive. Kitty was the unwitting passenger in a wild ride that ended in a rescue.
Oh, what happened?
9-week-old kitten found her way into the subframe of a 2000 Honda Accord in Lexington, Kentucky, and became trapped in one of the holes.
Oh, my gosh.
Unnoticed by the owner at first, she was carried hidden in the car from Lexington to Frankfurt, where she was discovered still stuck.
How long was that, do you know? Did they say?
Not sure. When the man stopped for lunch on his way home, the trapped kitten was spotted out the window by the manager of a Hardee's drive-thru. Right. A concerned worker jumped into action, contacting local firefighters and the nearby Midas auto shop for help to free the feline.
Oh, my gosh.
A Midas mechanic posted photos and wrote on Facebook, "After an hour of rear subframe removal, a Lexington fireman, my lead tech, and myself, with some soap, sweat, and prayers, were able to extract the kitten from the clutches of the rear subframe."
Oh,
Tired and frightened. Kitten appeared to be all right. They took it to the vet. Clean bill of health. Wow, the Midas workers named her Marigold after the fictional daughter of King Midas in Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Tale of King Midas and the Golden Touch.
You see?
Marigold is now starting her new life with an adopted family. And that'll be her last car ride for a while. She was literally stuck in the subframe of the car underneath. She could have been terribly, terribly injured.
Well, you know what it is they where, you know, if it's warm, you've been in your car, and you know they'll climb up on the tires and they'll get inside, and it's one of those things where, you know, if you do live in one of those really cold climates, and cats tend to do this, you need to beep your horn to make sure there's no cats underneath. But wow, what a good story in the end. What was the name again? What did the name her?
Marigold.
I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. Now, if you always want to get a daily dose of cuteness that just makes you happy, is you know what you can do is run over to Instagram, and of course there's some fantastic animals, pets that have their own Instagram accounts, and I'm going to name a few of them. Jif Pom is a good one. And we, of course, Pomeranian, adorable, beyond cute. Doug the Pug, who I'm very familiar with. Who else is on this list? Grumpy Cat. Well, Grumpy Cat, as you know, passed away, but they're still doing a lot of good for animals. And, you know, Grumpy Cat's legacy is going to continue on. So definitely follow that account. And Marnie the dog, who's 17. Amazing. And... my favorite right now is Juniper the fox. Oh, I can't even tell you how adorable Juniper the fox is, and she's, you know, she's got a book, and it's called it actually is a boy. Is it a boy? Juniper. That seems like a girl's name to me, but boy or girl, the happiest fox that you'll ever see. And again, rescued. Oh, when honestly, you get on that account, you'll not believe it. It's Juniper Fox with 2 X's at the end. Then you've got Pumpkin the raccoon, who loves blueberries, by the way. Jill the squirrel. I can't even tell you how much I love the name of that account. Of course, lots of people know Little Bub. It's a cat with a very, very unique little face. Big eyes, really wide. And then you've got Reagan the Doodle. And I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention our friend Odie's Eyes, Odie's account, Odie's Eyes. And also, what's Missy's crew called? Oh, hang on. Missy's got a great Instagram profile of her dogs. Let me find out. They're called the something crew. Oh, let's see if I can remember it. But yeah, if you want a daily dose of cuteness, then definitely follow some of those accounts. Isn't it funny? Because, I don't know, years ago, you wouldn't have even thought of giving your pet its own profile. But it's such the norm now. It's so normal to do that. But yeah, if you want a little daily dose of happiness, then definitely run on over to Instagram and follow some of those accounts. Let me see if I can find... Oh, why can't I find the account of Missy? Here we go. It's Fluff Dog Crew. Oh, it's called Bijou, the Zoo, and Fluff Crew. And oh my gosh, if you want to watch cute, adorable Shih Tzus. And Missy, who runs the profile for her dogs, she's a huge fan of 80s music, huge, and she ties that all into all of her posts with her dogs. It's very, very clever. We interviewed both her and Alicia last year on the show when we videoed the show actually, because it was for Super Zoo, and it's up on YouTube, and I'll probably link that out because that was fun as well, because you know they are pretty big, important social media influencers with their pets, and I think Missy's at like 60,000 followers, so they're popular for a reason, but they will make you smile. You got any more stories, Jim?
There was a couple that I looked at, but I think you hit all the good ones. I don't want to be anticlimactic with something. There's actually a site that I looked at that had all positive pet stories.
I like it that you can just seriously just go into, you know, get on the internet, well, go into any of these social media channels and just, search some hashtags, happy dog stories or
There's this one. We have a couple of minutes
fun
left.
pet stories, those kind of things. And, look for good stuff. I think it's always nice to be able to know that the good stuff is out there.
Here's top 10 happy pet stories from our friends over at Best Friends from a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So this isn't current events, but let me see this a little bit slow on my interwebs coming up.
But, when you think about it, what is there not to smile about when it comes to animals? I mean, they just make you smile. I love the donkey sanctuary that they've got. They've got quite a few of them back home in England, and that's really sweet. There's some sweet rescues out there, but they know how to make it fun and give you the happy stories. And I've just got to the point now where I'm just like, you know what? I just only want to read about happy stuff. That's all I'm really interested in right now. Not interested in anything else but good news. And that's why I wanted to do this show, because I think everybody needs a good old dose of that. Oh, actually, talking of good news, good friend of mine, Erin, we call her the Bunny Lady. She's doing a pretty big fundraiser August the 2nd here in Las Vegas. And it's the Bun Fundraiser. And it's $35 a ticket. And you get a 3-course meal. There are 4 entrees to choose from. That includes non-alcoholic drinks. You'll get a little swag bag. I think you get a couple of raffle tickets thrown in there as well. And she's holding a big raffle with some really nice stuff. Oh my gosh. Not just rabbit stuff, because not everybody is into rabbits, but they're into helping animals. Do you know what I mean? You might get your dog people who say, I'll go because I want to support what she's doing. It's great. But they may not have rabbits themselves, So I'm going to make sure that we've got a couple of baskets in there for her that are, dog and cat related. And that's coming up. And you'll be able to find that on my radio show page on Facebook. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I think this is probably going to be the biggest event that she's done to date for animals, for bunnies. And we got a big problem here with people dumping rabbits. So she's out there all manner of hours, trust me, feeding them. Does a wonderful job at getting them adopted out, getting them fixed up, because these aren't feral rabbits. These are domesticated rabbits that people have dumped out there. So she brings a lot of good news with all the bunny adoptions that she does. But this event's going to be great, so I'm very excited about that. And then I think that's it, Jim, unless you've got one more for me.
No, there's nothing as good as what you've already done. I'm scrolling through a few places.
Yeah, so we covered how you can get involved to help wildlife. That's if you're in the UK, and I'll link everything out all the way through. And then we've got Batman, Batman and Robin saving animals, now turned into a charity. We got the dog that we're going to call a tea leaf thief. That's a little Cockney rhyming slang. The tea leaf dog stole a book on abandonment and then got scooped up and is going to end up with a home. That's another great story. A funny one too. The guy that is helping animals, move, giving them a new lease on life, having helped over 20,000 of them. And then the little town that all pulled together after the recent tropical depression called Barry, where the actual rescue needed help. So that was a really great story. And then, of course, the lady who I cannot wait to read more about her with her 90 animals. I think that's brilliant, as she names them after all the characters in Lord of the Rings. And what else have we covered? And finding all the extinct animals and brand new species never been seen before in Honduras. I think that's a good show, Jim. A good old dose of good news.
Yeah, and you got to remind everybody about the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11, and to keep your eye on television and watch out for space.
There you go. It's been quite the month, hasn't it, celebrating all of that. We've enjoyed it, I must admit. All right, then. That's it, my friends. If you've enjoyed the show and you've liked the show, please share it with your family and friends. It's dead easy to share it on social media, whether you're listening through an app or whether you're actually listening through the website, which is easily done. We'd so appreciate it. And remember, you can always help animals in need, either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, or share their information and rescue your next family member. Replace the word shop with adopt, and of course be kind to all animals. Thank you, Jim, for of course researching some stories at the very, very end there, and to my dogs for just being, well, just really cute, actually. It's been an absolute pleasure having you listen in today. Take a moment, if you can, to follow us on Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to post pics of your pets, because, you know, we like to see the cute faces. They make us happy, and today's show is all about good news and being happy. Again, thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it. And today, you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it's all about pets, people, and pop culture. I'm your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And always kiss your pets good morning and good night. And I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeartRadio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our hosts as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.